It was a good performance, but just not good enough to beat City, were it? Lads, lads, lads. Lads, welcome back to another match reaction. I've just watched the Blades lose 1-0 to Manchester City. It's to be expected, really, isn't it? Man City have won so many games this season. It's just another one to chalk off. But it certainly wasn't as easy as a lot of games that they've played this season. Especially not the last one against West Brom, who we've got next. West Brom lost 5-0 against Man City. We've lost 1-0 today. It's just one of them, innit? That you just sit watching all game and then you're just like, it's going to end up being a defeat. But we played all right. Let's get straight into it. We might as well do, because there's not really a lot to talk about in this game. I wrote down about 5 things in my notes to talk about. So I don't think it's going to be a very long video. I think it's probably more kind of gearing up for the West Brom game. That's going to be a nail biter, to say the least, unless we go 2 or 3 goals up really early, all they do, because that's really going to be make or break for our season. I think we thought that earlier on in the season when we played them away. We were like, it's a must win, or it's a must not lose. Now this is a must win game. The West Brom game is the only game this season that is a must win game, and if we don't win it, pack up, go home, might as well. So anyway, we're talking about Man City, not about West Brom. So, it was really, really annoying to see us concede such a poor goal defensively, weren't it, really? First of all, the ball gets played over the top. Ampadu just gets a little bit of a head on the ball, which takes it over the top of him, obviously, onto Ferran Torres. I can never say his name. Bogle pushing him, trying to kind of push him out of play. He goes to the ground. First of all, it's like, it's not a penalty, right? Because you never know with these referees these days. And then I think Bogle kind of maybe had that in the back of his mind, and for some reason he was trying to get round him that side, thinking he's not going to come inside me. And he did. You can never be too sure with Man City or the big six or the top 6, because they have some very, very good players. Like Ferran Torres barely gets a game, and they bought him for a hell of a lot of money. I don't know exactly how much it was, but the amount of money that were on show there today, it weren't a particularly great Manchester City performance. I thought we played all right, but yeah, it was that first goal was really frustrating to watch, because then Ampadu dives in after Torres has got in behind Bogle. Ampadu dives in, but he doesn't really, does he? He like jumps in, but a bit like a fairy. Jumps in like a fairy, and kind of, you've got to take the lot, haven't you? Now, fair enough, I know that he's a tricky winger, and they've got a lot of tricky players, and you shouldn't really be diving in anyway. But stand up, be strong, don't let him get past you. It was just a bit of a fairy challenge, weren't it, really? Let's be honest. And I was thinking, oh God, everyone's going to get on his back now. It was a poor attempt at taking the ball off him, but at the same time, I think he did all right for the rest of the game. And then Bash, bit of a weird one. Flies out of play to try and, I don't know actually. I'm saying to try to do. I can't even give you a reason why he did it. Now all I can think of is that he expected the ball to be pulled back, but Jesus is stood right in front of goal. Like, why would you push out? You'd surely be trying to push in front of Jesus, so that you can nip in and try and, or either nip in or kind of stand behind him and try and get a block on it. But he kind of just walked out like he was, like the team were pushing out and we were trying to keep people, push people offside. Bit weird. But it went to Jesus, and he put the ball in the back of the net. Rammers tried to anticipate that he was going to just sweep it in the bottom corner, but he wasn't set to shoot. So obviously he kind of stumbled and was like, oh, right, okay, I'm just going to put it in the back of the net. I understand why Rammers did it. I think most keepers probably wouldn't have done that. Or if they were going to, you stand up tall and try and get your leg out. But Rammers decided to try and guess where he was going to put the ball, and he didn't. But he also nearly got back and saved when he actually had the shot and scored. But yeah, it's one of them things. He made a late, great save at the end of the game, Rammers, to keep it to 1-0. And that was the same, really. Just anticipated it well, and he made an excellent save. But we'll get on to that. So 1-0 down after 9 minutes, not the best. At that point, you're thinking, I still thought we'd have enough to not get hammered like West Brom did. But West Brom conceded early and then went, and I think they were 4-0 down at half time, so you're thinking the worst at that point. But we dug in, we played well. There were a couple of hairy moments where it's like, oh God, oh God, oh God. But I don't really remember him opening us up other than that time. And then Jesus right at the end in stoppage time where Ramsdale made that beautiful save. I don't remember him really getting in behind us. I think Torres did once and Bogle kind of pushed him to the ground in the second half. Weren't a lot in it, but I've seen him given before, to be honest. The only shot that we had in the first half was Ryan Bruce started just turning on it, trying to get something on target. Just didn't get enough on it, did it? And he just trickled to Edison. I was saying to my missus earlier, like, Edison must have been freezing in that goal because it's cold outside. I know he had his leggings on. But anyway, yeah, nothing really happened in the first half other than that goal. I'm trying to think of anything else that they had. Not really. And then in the second half, again, they had all the possession like they did in the first. Again, didn't really create a hell of a lot. They had a lot of creative players on the bench, and I think if it would have still been 0-0 kind of towards the middle of the second half, they'd have brought on all of them really. They'd have probably brought on Mahrez and Sterling at least. Yeah, I think that City team was there for the taking, I'm being honest. Obviously, if we'd have been more expansive and tried to kind of attack more, then we'd have probably got opened up. I would have liked to have seen us go for it a little bit earlier, because we definitely did right towards the end of the game. Fleck had that beautiful half volley missed by about that, by a whisker, a cat's whisker, and I thought it were in. I really did. Edison thought it would beat. And I'm sure he did, because he flew across that goal like his life depended on it. Just a bit frustrating. But anyway, yeah, it's one of them things. We weren't the better team. They passed us off the park, no problem at all. But yeah, it was one of them games where we possibly could have got something from the game if we'd have gone for it a little bit more. But there weren't a lot in it for us, were they? We couldn't really get out of zone half for most of the time. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. I thought against a team like City, McBurney and Sharpe were brought on, and I thought they did really well. And I think maybe Wylie could have brought them on a bit earlier. Like, I thought Burke would have been the perfect player to play against these guys, but he was just chasing shadows. What really annoys me about football sometimes is that when it was the 93rd minute and 20 seconds, they got a foul, right? They ran the time down all the way until the 94th minute, played a long ball, and then that was it. Game over. Sorry, it might be 95th. I can't remember if it was 5 minutes or 4 minutes. But they ran the clock down all the way to the very last second, and then the referee blew the whistle. Like, I'm not saying we're going to score in 40 seconds, but how can you let that happen as a referee? How can you let them run the time down that much and blow the whistle bang on the minute when it should be blown? I've got no idea. Again, don't expect us to score in that time, but I expect when the ball's been out of play for 40, 50 seconds, that to be added on. Anyway, I'll quickly go through the team, because again, not a lot to say about that game really. For the neutral, it must have been a proper ball snore. Ramsdale in the net. excellent save, pulled off a brilliant save right at the death. Possibly could have not gone down for their first goal, well, for their only goal. But I don't blame him for that at all. Other than that, I thought he had a pretty decent game, so fair play. I thought Baldock had an okay game. He gave away a lot of fouls, a hell of a lot of fouls. I'm not saying it was his fault, because these referees are just every little touch, every time anyone's touched, they go down. I think for the very final shot from Jesus, the one that Ramsdale saved, Baldock was very much watching Foden, and it were like, you can see what he's going to do. He's running at you, running at you, and he's going to lay it off to Jesus. And Ampadu was stood right next to him. It's like, let Ampadu take him, and you go to the man that's shooting. I just didn't really understand why he did that, unless he didn't see that Ampadu was there and he thought it was a bit of an overload. But yeah, that's that. But he had a good game. He did. Bogle on the other side, I thought he played well. I think for most of the game he played well. He had a bit of a tough first 15 minutes. They were going down their right a lot. And I think they realised that Bogle's not an out-and-out left-back or left-wing-back. And tried to put pressure on him. Obviously, that's where they got the goal from. But I think he was good in possession. I think he defended well. I think he needed that goal to kind of wake him up a little bit. But yeah, other than the goal, I think he played really well today. I'll give him a lot of respect, and I think he should play in the next game as well, unless Ozzy or Stevens are fit. But even if they're not, I'm happy to see him at left wing back. Then we've got the three centre backs. They all played relatively well. Egan brought the ball out really well today at times. They didn't panic on the ball. Like, constantly we were playing out from the back, and I'm thinking, oh God, we're gonna do something stupid in a minute, and we never did. We didn't at all. It was great to see. Like kind of one of them where the ball's coming, pretending to pass and then taking it out of play. Like you don't expect us to do that against Man City and think, God, we might give the ball away here. Don't want to do anything stupid. Let's just boot it long. But we didn't. It was great to see. Bash, really weird decision to fly out for the goal, like I've already said. Ampadu, I thought, other than, again, the first goal, he played really well. I think that's true with everyone. Other than the mistakes that were made in that first goal, I think everybody played particularly well. Flecky, I thought, was excellent today. Again, he's getting better and better with every game. That's two really good games against two really good teams. He's been really good in possession. Nearly got us a point out of that game. Could you imagine if we'd have smashed and grabbed a point there? That would have been brilliant. Lunny did okay. Didn't do a hell of a lot today, to be honest. At times he were all right in possession. He didn't panic. He played nice little 1-2s, but didn't really get us up the field that much. And he didn't really get up the field that much either. Norwood, again, did okay. He didn't lose possession at all, I don't think, today. Maybe he probably did at some point, but not that I could recognise, and not that led to anything. So yeah, I thought Norwood did well today. Berkey and Brewster. Burke ran, didn't he? But you could see in that second half he was blowing, and he ran his race, and it was time for him to come off. I think he could have probably come off 10 minutes before what he did. I thought Burke would have been the best player for this game today, like I said earlier, but yeah, he quite clearly wasn't. He was just chasing shadows. He was nowhere near anyone. He put one good ball into the box today. I think that was all he did. Brewster had one shot, tried to link up play a little bit. He may possibly, if we do get relegated, he may possibly play in that Didsy role, but actually be more of an attacking threat. I think sometimes Didsy struggles with that. Obviously, he's scored a lot of goals for us this season, so can't really say that. But I think Brewster, when the ball has come up to him, he's held it up well, and he's brought other players into the game. So maybe a little bit of a McGoldrick in the making. But yeah, he didn't do a great deal today. Like I said, a bit of a trickler of a shot. Subs that came on, I thought Sharpie did all right when he came on. Won a couple of, won one free kick against Kyle Walker. Just showed his professionalism to know what to do to kind of back into him and then go down. And he also did well in other areas as well, where trying to hold the ball up, trying to use his experience for I think it was the Fleck chance where the ball came, or was it Bogle? Bogle came in and hit a volley that went wide and high and wide. There was one where the ball came over and he kind of just backed into Walker and then just flicked it on. You can't teach that sort of experience. Billy Sharp just knows exactly what to do. It was like Southampton last season when McBurney was getting knocked about left, right and centre against Vestergaard, and then Billy Sharp came on. First thing he did was just roll him, and it's like Vestergaard's this much bigger, this much wider, and Sharp just goes, well, not this much wider, but you know what I mean. He's a big, strong lad, and he literally just used his body just to turn him, and that's the experience that Billy Sharp's got, and I do think he's still got a part to play in this season if we can possibly get out of it. I thought McBurney was good to see McBurney back. We haven't had that aerial threat, and it's good to see McBurney back offering that in his own box and in their box. And Didsey came on as well. Didn't do a great deal. At one point, I think he just muscled his way past Fernandinho, which not a lot of players do. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Obviously, we've got West Brom next, the biggest game to date. If we can win that game, anything's possible. Get ourselves on a nice little run. They've obviously drawn with Fulham today, which is the best result that could have come out of today, especially if we'd have nicked a point against City right at the end, and we'll have drawn against City and they'll have drawn against each other. That would have been incredible. But they both got a point today, so they've gone a point further away from us, but we've still got both of them to play. Like I say, it's going to be difficult, but if we beat West Brom, who knows? So that's still 4 wins from 6 games. It's great form going into the biggest game of the season. Good performance against Man City. 4 wins. Poor performance against Spurs, but that's in the past. That is well in the past. Since then, we've won a game in the Cup, we've beaten Man United, and we've put up a really good show against Man City. So fingers crossed, the West Brom game is going to be it. That's it. Draw, not good enough. So thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe for more, and stay unique.